Growing up as a Chinese girl, first generation in a traditional Chinese household, our family moved across, the sea for me to have a proper education, to get a, well-paying job, to be married and successful and having a family. Those were kind of like the expectations I had growing up, and because of that, it caused like a lot of guilt and a lot of shame for anything that I did that wasn't, aligned with that path. I struggled a little bit because it was like, do I give up everything just to fit that proper mold and not let my parents down and bring, honor to my family? Or do I truly do something that is my authentic self and brings me a lot of happiness and joy and eventually a lot of love into my life? I'm still not out to a majority of my family. To this day, I'm 30 years old and I'm still feel like I'm living two separate lives, but one part of me I know for a fact is my true self, and the other is just, a facade or a role that I play in order to prevent myself and protect myself from judgment, from shame, from any guilt, a lot of the traumatic things that can happen when you live in a conservative household like that. I think that for someone who is struggling to find their true authentic self, my piece of advice would be to choose to accept the love that is out there. There are people out there who are going to support you. Just put your light out there and welcome the love. My college roommates have been my ride or dies since, the very beginning. And they were truly the type of people who were like, you know what? In this world where everything is so black and white and you have to fit into a bucket, don't force yourself or, manipulate yourself in order to fit a mold. And they were also the ones that introduced me to the San Francisco drag community. The ideas of being gender non-binary or being able to transform yourself from one gender to a next were concepts that weren't even part of my life at all. And it wasn't until then that I met drag queens who are these fierce feminine forces of power, and that truly, I think, gave me the okay and the acceptance to, be yourself. It's the family that I chose, and it's the people who inspire me every day. There's no such thing as too much color or too much glitter. You can present yourself however way you want to, regardless of your orientation, your gender identity. It doesn't matter. You are who you are. I think being able to see people in the LGBTQ community who may not have gone through the same exact story as me, but have felt that same amount of shame, have dealt with trauma, have dealt with discrimination, have dealt with being judged on a day-to-day basis and having to hide themselves. I think that pain, overcoming that pain, is part of being in the LGBTQ community. Pride to me means honoring those who have paved the way for us, but also reflecting on your own journey and to accept love at its finest. Being able to celebrate how far you've come, despite it only making the smallest strides. For me, when I go to any of the Pride events in my community, it makes me feel like, my family is out there and everyone's going through their own journey, but here we are, taking time out of our day-to-day to be together and just feel loved and express our love and support for each other. Once you can identify your true authentic self and put yourself out there, there's so much love on the other side that it's absolutely worth it.